Well, welcome everyone. And this is Agent Wealth Network with Dr. Hank. And, every week we focus on how to increase your passive income to have cash flow, or we might talk about how to increase your retirement. But one of the main things that we like to talk about is how to grow your business. And we have what I consider the king of FSBOs, Robert Russell, with us, and he has this amazing ability to coach agents into getting literally free FSBO leads, alerts on emails, and when it's posted on MLS, and all kinds of wonderful things. So, Robert, welcome to our show, Agent Wealth Network. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. So, tell me, Robert, what got you interested in FSBOs? What's so special about FSBOs?
Well, when I first started in real estate in 2000, I had no idea how to start. I figured the best way to go after the real estate business is go after people that are trying to sell their house now, and that was the for sale by owner market. So I decided to start calling people. I went door knocking. That was a total wrong. And I just started calling people and seeing if I could talk to them about helping them sell the house. That became a massive explosion.
Wow. Oh, your volume went off again. Can't hear you. I can't hear you. No volume. Huh. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can hear you, but I don't know why it's going off like that. Okay. Talk again?
Okay. Where
Yeah.
did I lose you?
Yeah. So, okay, let's try it again and see on how it goes. So Robert, tell me that what's so special about FSBOs? Like, what got you into FSBOs and helped build your business to this massive, real estate business that you have?
Well, I wanted to go after a business that would be the easiest contact person to go after, and that's a person that's trying to sell their house themselves. And so that's when I started the for sale by owner market, is to go after people that are currently trying to sell their house.
I love that. It's like, yeah, they try to, but I think some agents have a fear about, well, the FSBO is that they want to save the percentage or whatever, and cost too much with the realtor. So, what do you do? I think maybe we should start with, how do you first of all get the FSBOs? Can you share with us how you get the FSBOs, and then once you get them, how you talk to them?
Well, first of all, the people that are paying for leads to me are wasting money. If you're buying leads, you're completely wasting money. Send it to me and I'll throw it in the commode, because that's basically what you're doing. You're buying information that everybody is sharing, and the same people are calling the same people. Why not go after people that you don't have information of?
So, so let's talk on. Let's start at. So, Robert, there's really two things. First of all, real estate agents are afraid of calling them, and so maybe we should get into that. How you get FSBO leads, and then how you talk to those FSBO customers. So, can you help us with, maybe let's start out with leads, and what's your opinion on leads, and where are good leads?
Well, if you're buying leads, you're wasting money. Period. That's just end of story on that. I can show people how to get free leads, have them come to your email daily, and the leads that I'm getting, these are active for sale by owners that are currently trying to sell their house. The leads will come to you. I've got full volume here. I'm looking at the monitor. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. You're good. You're good.
Okay,
I'm just agreeing. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you, baby.
Okay, you can't hear me do that.
But I want to tell you, Robert, you are so right on. Like Zillow leads, I was talking to Zillow, and they said that when they get a lead, they send it to about 20 people, and they told me that within about 90 seconds, if you don't call that lead, the odds of you getting that lead are done, because somebody's already called that lead. So yeah, it's kind of a waste of money. And I think you were saying earlier, it's like throwing it in the commode, right?
Well, what's even worse is that people have the mindset for sale by owner is trying to sell other houses because they're trying to not make commissions. That's not always the case.
Ah,
Because of many reasons. The number one reason is their personality type. If you don't understand the personality type of a sub owner, then you don't need to be calling for sub owners. The personality type of a for sub owner, for the most part, not in all cases, is they're a type A person. They believe they do everything themselves. I call them the EOEs, expert in everything. So you got to talk to a type A in a manner that he can understand.
yes, absolutely.
So, type A person, if you don't know how to talk to that type A individual, you will bomb for sub owners. The problem that people have is they try to talk to the for sub owner as if they're stupid. Well,
Ah,
bad news, this is 2018. They have as much access to stuff as you almost do, except they don't have the detailed information on MLS. So
ah,
you've got to remember that going after for sub owner is like dating. You don't meet a girl and say, hey, you're hot, let's go to bed. It just doesn't happen. I can promise you that approach is not going to work. And you can show a lot of money on them. But
yeah,
you've got to date these prospects. You've
ah,
got to show some interest and date them through the process so that they trust you. I would recommend everybody who calls for sub owners to buy a book called Personality Plus by Florence Littauer.
okay, personality plus. Got it.
Personality Plus. Now, I
Okay,
make zero if you buy that book. So I'm not trying to sell you a book, but if you
yep.
want to find out about yourself, your spouse, and how to deal with other people, buy that book. It's an eye opener. I looked at that thing and I read about myself and I'm going, oh my God, this is me. I didn't like what I was reading about myself.
Oh, that's great. And so it actually helps you with relationships too. It helps you better understand your wife
Oh,
and
oh,
whatever.
big time, big time.
Awesome.
I
Awesome.
remember, I'm going to tell you a little story, but
There-
this has nothing to do with real estate. But
That's
I
okay.
remember when I first got married, we had a very hard time communicating because we have two type A's married to each other. So we went to a counselor, and she came back home. And the next day, there was a list of things to do on the counter. And the first one said, empty the baskets in the pool. The next one said, empty the garbage. So I went through that list, and I'm looking at this list. And if I see a list, I'm going to knock it out. So it said, empty the baskets. Okay, I'll mark that off. I took care of that. Next one said, empty the garbage. I could do that. So I marked off the list. And she came home and I said, I took care of your list for you.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, thanks. I found out later that list was not for her. It was for me. But if she would have told me, I need you to do these things, I said, no, you ain't telling me what to do. I thought I was being the nice guy by taking care of the list for her.
That is great.
So one of the point I'm trying to make is that if you don't understand the personality of the for sale owner, you might as
Yeah.
well forget about it because the rest is going to be too hard for you anyway.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So, what do I do with them then? How do I talk to them on this and to read the book Personality Plus, and so I understand that, and then I like this idea of they already think they're the I can do it all, and all of us. I've been that way with like, oh, I'll fix the garbage disposal, okay, when it goes out. And so I try to do it, and then eventually I'm calling a plumber,
Right,
right?
right.
So we all know, even though we're know-it-alls, we all know that some things we just can't manage. And real estate is one of them, selling your home, properly. So how do you talk to these guys? Or these people, women, men? Yeah.
Remember that in that personality, you can't tell them what they need to do. You can't make suggestions on how to fix the problem, but what
Yeah.
you can do is you can ask the right questions.
Your volume just went out.
Yeah, I can tell when the volume
There you
goes
go.
out.
There you go.
Okay,
Now I got you.
if
Yep.
you know the right questions to ask,
Yeah.
you can what I call paint them into a corner. In other words, if I ask you a question, I probably already know what your answer is going to be. So my next question is going to be based on the answer of the first question.
Right. What are those questions?
Those questions are, have you ever sold a house before? The answer is probably no. Well, how many showings have you had so far? And if they say, well, I've only had one, what do you think the problem is with that? And they're going to tell you something like, well, I'm not getting enough advertising. What do you think you could do different? And just keep asking questions. And I tell people this all the time when I'm doing my coaching. The person that asks the most questions is going to be the winner of this conversation. If you tell people a statement, you just lost two. You get a point for every question. You lose 2 points for every statement.
That's great. And if I could just add on that what people don't understand when you ask a question is you actually are controlling the conversation, but the other person thinks that they're controlling it because they get to answer whatever way they want to, but you've directed them into, like you say, paint them into that corner.
Right. So if they ask you a question, you're going to turn around and answer it with a question.
Yep.
So if I say, what do you think you could do different? And if they respond, what do you think I should do? I'm going to say, it doesn't matter what I think. You're the one selling the house. What do you think you should do?
Exactly. Perfect.
So, yes, what you said about controlling the conversation is 100% accurate. You've got to control. And the way to control is by asking questions. Once you let them start asking you questions, they're in control and you lose the whole conversation.
There you go. Perfect. And tell me, how is this over the phone or is this with them live? Like, how do you get into them? And we're kind of working backwards here. Here's how we talk to them, and then we're going to kind of work backwards. So that was, I assume, talking to them live. How did you get into talking to them to start out with?
Well, this is going to blow your mind. I haven't been to a actual listing appointment face to face in over 5 years.
Oh,
I do everything by phone. DocuSign, I email them the paperwork, seller listing agreement, seller's disclosure, information about brokerage services. I have them sign it through DocuSign. They send it back to me, and I do everything by phone. Now, here's what for sale by owners will do. Well, before I list my house with you, I want to meet you in person. I said, I think that's a good idea. Do you have questions for me? Is that why you want to meet me? Yes. Well, good. What questions do you have?
You're back to your questions. Yeah.
Exactly. So they'll ask me questions, and I'll answer all the questions, and then I'll say, is there any more questions that you have for me? No, I think that's about it. Okay, good. I'm going to email you the paperwork. You go through DocuSign, and then once you hit submit, it'll come back to me.
Robert, I got to tell you, I have never heard that statement before. You're a master at listings, with FSBO, and you haven't been on a listing presentation in 5 years, and you're proud of it.
Yes, I am, because look at what I'm wearing. I dressed up today for this. I'm no, seriously, hold on. Shorts. I'm wearing shorts.
I'll make a true confession too. I'm wearing shorts too. And I dressed up for you, Robert.
And see, here's what I tell realtors. I had a realtor that I was on a coaching call with last week. He said, how do you get people to agree to not come into their house? And I said, the problem is not them, it's you. You have this feeling that you're so almighty that they need to see you. They don't care about what you look like. Remember, for some owners, type A personality, all they care about is how much you're going to sell it for, how long is it going to take, and how much do I got to pay you. They don't care about anything else. They don't care what you look like. They don't want to see you. Do it all by email and save the time. Save money on gas. That way, if you do it this way, can list properties in the entire state, not
Uh,
just in your city. And what
oh,
I do, oh God,
that's
yes,
yeah.
yes. I teach people how to list in different states and countries, not just in their city, because
Wow.
I've got a system to make that happen too. And it's so simple. Once I told you, you were going, my God, I can't believe you do that. That's so simple.
Now, don't I have to be licensed in that state if I do go outside of the state?
There's a way to get around that. You do have to be licensed in that state, but let's say, I'll give you an example. I love this that you brought this up. I was calling a guy in Texarkana. Now, in Texas, Texarkana borders Texas and Arkansas, otherwise known as Texarkana, right? So I'm calling this guy thinking that he's in Texarkana. So
Yeah.
he calls me and says, I've decided I'm gonna let you list my property. I said, perfect. How much is it? He goes, it's 6 million. I said, awesome. I said, give me your address so that I can send you the paperwork. And he says, it's in Arkansas. And I went, oh, okay, not a problem. I said,
Oh,
I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to list it in two MLSs. We're going to list it in the Texas MLS and we're going to list it in the Arkansas MLS. So
wow.
I called a realtor friend of mine in Arkansas and I said, hey, good news. I've got a listing for you. She goes, well, what do you mean? I said, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to send you a referral agreement at 50% commission on the listing side. You're
Sure.
going to list it in your MLS. In the agreement, you're going to give me permission to list it in my MLS so you get 50% of a $6 million listing. Do you want it? She goes, yes. I said, there's a bonus. You also get to put up your sign and your lockbox, and
Yeah.
you don't pay anything on any buyers that come through.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, God, yes. I'll do that all day long. So, to answer
Oh,
your question, can it be done? Yes, if
yes.
you know how to work the system.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
listed it in two MLSs.
Yes. Now, I am curious on what percent was the $6 million? What percent did you charge on your side?
Well, we're not supposed to discuss commissions. Um, it was less than 8 and higher than 6.
Oh, seven or
I
between
didn't say
six and
that.
eight, you did, but between 6 and 8%, that's what you got on a $6 million home.
Yes, that's right.
My God,
And
that
I
is
never
just,
met him in person.
oh my gosh. And when was this? Just out of curiosity, was
This
it
was
closed?
two years ago. Yes, it did.
That's great. That's great. And it closed. I assume it closed, and you got it. Oh my gosh, that is just fantastic, just amazing. Um,
That was all
so
done on the phone too, by the way.
yeah, right,
All done on the
right.
phone. I never met the guy.
My goodness gracious. So so let's go from or anything else on conversations that you would have with them. That what type of uh, objections do you find, or any other techniques that you could share with us in order to, over the phone, be able to get this listing?
Well, remember that if you think that you're going to call a person and the very first call think that they're going to go with you, you're sad mistaken. Remember, it's
Got
about
it.
dating. It's about dating like you did in high school. You've got to get to the point where you can hold their hand. Then you've got to get to the point where you can put your arm around them. That's called number two. Now we got to get to the point where I can kiss them. That's date number three. Then I'm going to go for first base, hopefully. Maybe I might wait. Depends on how their reaction is. Do you understand my thinking here?
Well, I do, and it's very cute, and and
But it's
everybody's
all
going like,
about it's a process.
yes, yes,
The more calls you make and engage with them where they will feel good about talking to you, number
yeah,
one, they're going to see that you're persistent.
yeah,
They're going to feel good about talking to you. Then after a while, when you call them, you don't even have to tell them who you are. They know
yeah.
exactly who you are. You
Wow.
probably contacted them more then any other realtor is contacted because everybody else is trying to get a listing on the first call, and then
Right.
you get pissed off and say, I'm calling for $7 again. Y'all keep doing that because I'm going to take those listings away from you.
Well, I imagine that takes more than what we have time to do as far as, how those different steps are. And how would we get a hold of you, Robert, if we'd like to learn more of all that detail on how to be able to talk to the FSBO?
Sure, you can call me at 972-679-9029. You can also email me at robert@robertjrussell.com.
RobertJRussell.com, correct?
Right.
Right. Okay,
And that's
good.
also my website.
Yep. Okay, great. So it's robertjrussell.com and Robert hat in order to, got it. That's great. Can you go into a little on kind of like how that first call is on what you do? We understand you ask questions.
Well, let's make it fun. Let's make it a role play.
Okay, great.
You're the for sale owner.
Okay.
I'm the realtor. You've never talked on the phone before.
Got it. Oh, your volume. No.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
The only information that I have on you is your address, and because you've got it advertised with your telephone number and your first name. Okay?
Okay, great. Yep,
Hello.
let's go.
Hello, is this Hank?
Yes, it is, Robert. Who's this? Oh, sorry.
Come on, Hank.
Oh, I didn't role play very well.
Oh, you're fine. Okay, let's try again. You don't know who I am.
Hello.
Hello, is this Hank?
Yeah, it is. Who's this?
Hey, this is Robert Russell. I was calling about a house that you have for sale. Do you still have a house for sale?
Yeah, I got a house for sale. Why, are you interested in buying one?
Well, I need to get some information from you first. How much are you asking for your house?
What's the question?
How much are you asking for your house?
$530,000.
530, perfect. And how many square feet is it?
I'm sorry, how much is what?
How many square feet?
Square feet, it's 3,500 square feet, real high end.
And how many bedrooms and bathrooms?
Four bedrooms and 3 baths.
Okay. And I've got a buyer I'm working with in California, and I'm thinking about letting them possibly see this one. Do you have a self-disclosure you can send me?
No, I don't have any. No, I don't have much information on it.
Okay, then I'm going to send you my contact information. What I want you to do is reply to my email, and then that way you can get a seller disclosure so that I can forward it out to my buyers. What is your email address?
It's drhank@drhank.com.
Perfect. You're going to get an email from Robert at robertjrussell.com. If you'll just reply to that, and then we'll go from there, and I'll call you back after I talk.
Wow, sounds great. Thanks a lot. Appreciate your help. Yeah. No volume.
All right, so that's the first call.
Yeah. Wow, that's fantastic. Just
now,
love it.
I totally took control away from you. I still engaged with you. I made it very matter of fact because you're a type A.
Yep.
My goal on the first call is only to get your email address. That's it. I don't care how much your house is. I really don't even care about square feet, how much you're asking. That has no bearing on me. If you say, I don't deal with realtors, I still don't care about that. If you say, I'm not paying any commissions, I don't care about that right now either. All I care about is getting your email address. That's the goal of call number one. Why am I interested in your email address? Because
To communicate.
now I'm going to put you on an automatic email drip campaign that's going to last 7 months, and you're going to get an email from me every 4 to 5 days.
Me.
So here comes call number 2.
Okay. Ring-a-ling.
Hello, is this
Hello.
Hank?
Yeah, it is. Who's this?
Hey, this is Robert Russell. I talked to you last week, and you sent me the information about your seller disclosure.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot to ask you the last time I talked to you, do you have a pool?
No, we don't have a pool. We have a spa, though.
Is your backyard big enough for a pool?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's on like about 3/4 of an acre.
Okay, good. That's what I needed to know. Okay, well, hey, thanks for your time. I'll get back with you later.
Well, what about that? Didn't you have a buyer for
Oh
me
yeah,
from California?
right. That's why I'm calling you about the pool thing.
Oh, I see. The buyer wanted to know whether or not they could put it. They wanted a pool, and if I didn't have a pool, they wanted to put in a pool.
Well, I'm not sure about that. They wanted me to find out if it had a pool in it. So that's
Got
what
it.
I needed to find out. But now that you told me that, now I need to call them and discuss this with them.
Okay.
And then I'll call you back.
Okay, great. Sounds great,
All right,
Robert.
thanks a
Thanks
lot.
very
Have a
much.
great day.
Okay,
Bye bye
thanks.
now.
Bye. Wow, that is great.
So every conversation, the next conversation is going to be, how much are you asking now? If they ask the question, why do you keep calling me? Do you have a buyer or not? Because now they're beginning to see some sort of small pattern.
Right,
Well, the only way for me to know whether your house is for sale is for me to call you because there's no other information out there
right.
now.
Oh,
Where are you advertising your house now?
what was that? Say again.
Where are you advertising your house for sale now?
And so you're asking this in the third call?
Yes. Yeah.
Got it, got it, got it.
Where's it being advertised?
And basically, I've just put it in a couple in the social media. I put it on Facebook and just to show my friends and but I haven't had many bites at all.
Yeah.
Not too
Well,
many people.
I think I know the reason.
Why? Why would
Your
that be?
house, your house is a secret. How
I,
are you going to
I,
sell a house if nobody knows about it?
yeah, yeah.
What do you think you could do different?
Well, maybe I need to do you have some other place I could maybe advertise on? Any ideas where I could
Oh,
advertise
I've
it?
got a lot of places. I've got about 10,000 websites we can put it on.
Wow,
You
really?
think that'd be enough?
Well, I'm sure it would be. I'm sure that would get some
How fast do
activity.
you think it'd sell if we had it on 10,000 websites where
Well,
people go to?
yeah, I mean, I thought I'd sell this house in 3 weeks, and gosh, it's been 6 weeks now. How fast could you sell it?
Well, the question is that since you've had it on the market for 6 weeks, what
Yeah,
kind of signal are you giving to people that drive by your house?
I don't know. Probably that I can't sell my house, huh?
They're thinking that it's either overpriced
Yeah.
or you're not willing to negotiate because you got it for sale by owner, or they don't trust you because you haven't asked a realtor, or you can't budge on the price. What
Oh,
signal do you think that's given to your potential buyers that are driving by?
yeah, yeah. It is. Well, you make up. These are great points that I hadn't even thought about. That people see after 6 weeks. I suppose they figure maybe something's wrong with the house, even.
What do you think your buyers are going to think if they want to buy your house and they're thinking there's something wrong?
Yeah, right. Well, I'm not going to give very much money for it.
Let
Hey,
me ask you this question.
yeah.
How much money will you make on your house if it doesn't sell?
How much money do I make at my house if it doesn't sell?
Right.
Nothing. How to make anything?
So how do you think you could change that solution?
Well, I need to get it sold.
How do
And
you plan to do that?
well, I think I'm just going to go to, like Craigslist. I'm going to use Craigslist, I think,
Yeah,
and maybe
yeah.
try to do that.
Yeah, that's a good website for investors or people that are looking for a really good deal.
Oh, is that right? That's where they look, huh? That's
Is
no
that where you
fun.
want to advertise it?
No, I don't think so. I'm
What do
really
you
not.
think
Yeah.
would be an alternative way to get it sold?
Well, I guess I could get a realtor, but I just don't like. I had one realtor that I've talked to a couple of realtors. I just don't like them, and they want 3%.
Yeah, I understand. I don't like realtors either. I'm a realtor. You know why I don't like realtors? Because most are
Well,
lazy. Most of them are lazy.
yeah,
They think they can stick up a sign, put a lot box on, pray that it sells, and then they do nothing. You don't hear from them. How many times have we
yeah.
talked, Hank?
What was that? Oh, no volume.
How many times have me and you had a conversation?
Well, gosh, I don't know. This is several times now. I think 4 or 5, something that we've, talked.
Here's my question for you, and I want you to really think about this. If
Sure.
I'm this persistent to get your business, how
Yeah.
persistent do you think I'm going to be when it comes time to actually make money and sell your
Yeah.
house?
Well, by golly, I think you'd be pretty darn persistent, Robert. Why don't you come on over and let's meet? I'd like to meet you and let's see if we can maybe do some business together.
Well, I think that's a great idea. What kind of questions do you think you'll have when we meet?
Well, I just want to know, like, how long have you been in business as a real
18
estate agent?
years. 18
18
years.
years.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Wow. And so how many in that 18 years, like how many average homes do you list maybe per year? Have you listed? Do you have any experience in listing?
Well, that's actually the wrong question
Well,
because do I make money from listing a house or do I make money from selling a house?
yeah,
See, that's
right.
your perception of realtors is wrong. You think because they list a house that they
Yeah,
make money by listing.
right,
What I
right.
do is a little bit different. I make money only when I
Yeah,
sell a house.
yeah,
So
good
maybe
one.
the question should be, how many houses have I sold? Would
Yeah,
that be
yeah.
more?
I think it is because I want my damn house sold.
Exactly. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you some paperwork. You
Okay.
fill it out. It spells out the commission and what I'm going to do and what you got to do as a seller. I'm going to send it through DocuSign. You're going to sign it online, and then once you hit submit, it'll
Yeah.
come back to me. And we'll worry
Okay.
about the measurements and pictures and all that stuff after you get the paperwork back to me.
Well, that sounds fair. Go ahead and send that to me, and I really appreciate your help and kind of guide me and helping me think about this. And that one thing, a point about, that people were probably thinking some negative things about my house or the sale price and everything. I think you're really right on. And I look forward to you selling my house, Robert.
Awesome. Great. Well, thanks for your time. If you got any questions, once you get the paperwork, call me and I'll go through them over the phone.
Okay, great, great. And I got what's your number again?
972
Uh,
679
uh,
9029. You can also text me.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Fantastic. Well, that's great. Okay. Thank you, Robert.
So, Hank, here's the point that I'm trying to make with all of this role playing.
Yeah.
This is what I do with realtors when I teach them how to call for sale by owners. We're going
Yeah.
to do a lot of role playing. There's two reasons why people don't call for sale by owners, why realtors don't call. Number one, they're afraid they're going to run out of names to call.
Uh, okay.
So, because of fear, not fear of rejection, they
Uh,
don't have a fear of rejection. They have a fear of running out of people to call. So, to conquer that fear, they won't call so that they don't have to worry about running out of people to call.
that's a psychological bad loop you're in there.
Yeah, exactly. The
So what's
second
the answer?
reason,
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
let me give you the second reason first.
Sure.
Second reason is they're afraid that the for sale owner is going to say something and they don't know how to respond.
Uh-huh.
The key to this is knowing all the questions that they're going to ask you, because really, they're going to for the last 18 years that I've been doing it, they come up with the same stuff. I told a
Yeah.
realtor today on a coaching call, I've got 3 auditors because I'm so bored talking for sub honors that I'm going to look at Facebook while I call them because I'm so bored because I'm going to hear the same stupid responses over and over and over. It
do
didn't
you
change.
do you have this written down then, or do you have that?
No, no, no way. And I
Do-
tell people I am not going to give you a script because I don't want you going. Okay, he
yeah,
said I don't want to pay
right,
commissions. Where's that
right.
at? Oh, there it is. Here's what you say, and it's going to sound canned. You got to
Yeah,
know this stuff. Just like
yeah,
talking to you on the phone, you got to
yeah,
know exactly what to say that fast.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And you teach agents in order to do that, to really be experts like you are on how to be able to get these FSBOs to build that relationship, kind of the dating, if you will, and then get them to the point. Yeah,
right.
Teach you how to date. That's just fantastic. And I'm taking notes here on and so I love that. And then, so let's go to that first objection or fear is, gee, I'm going to run out of names. So I know, and I saw, in fact, I just recently saw on Facebook with you where you were able to get about 250 FSBO free leads per day for an agent that you're working with. And so it's kind of like, wow, you even know how to get, to set up a search for the FSBO free leads to be sent by email every time a FSBO advertises on the MLS. And so you have all these techniques. Can you help us a little with how do I not run out of FSBOs?
Call me. I'm not going to give that information on a webinar like this for everybody to take my information. There's a system that I can show you how to do, where I can show you how to set this thing up. I mean, I've got a guy in Florida that I'm coaching right now. He told me he's getting 80 to 100 leads a day. I said, how many are your contacts? He goes, I'm just overwhelmed. I can't believe. He said, I can't believe how many people are trying to sell their house. I can't call these many people. I said, well, dude, just call what you can. This is a good problem that you have.
Right. So, so you actually have a way to have a never-ending list of FSBOs because there's a lot of these A personalities out there, right, that are saying, hey, I'm going to do it myself. And then we've all been in that where I try to do it myself and it just doesn't play out the way it should be. And so, I really need to go to a professional. Yeah.
Here's another thing I want to share with you. There's a guy that I'm talking to who lives in South Florida.
Yep.
And he said he's been in the business 23 years. Now, 23 years, you would think that his business would be a little bit different than what it is. Yep. So he said, I don't have enough people to call. I said, well, where are you calling? He said, I'm calling in my city. I said, interesting. You're calling only in your city, huh? He goes, yeah. I said, now you're licensed in Daytona Beach, right? And he goes, yeah. I said, so your license actually says licensed in Daytona Beach. And he goes, no. I said, what does it say? He said, licensed in the state of Florida. I said, that means you can call in the whole state? And he goes, yeah. I said, then why the hell aren't you calling everybody today? He goes, how do you list properties in 5 hours away?
Right.
I said, if I could show you how to do that and never drive to their house, would you want to list a house 5 hours away? He goes, oh, God, yes. I said, okay, problem solved.
Oh, that's just fantastic, Robert. Just absolutely love it. So we basically are at, how to get all the FSBO leads. So there's more than enough leads.
Way more than enough.
Yeah, way more than enough. And then how to actually start talking with them and never have the expectations you're going to get the listing on the first call. You build the relationship. You ask questions on it. And then by whatever time, the third, fourth, fifth time, whatever you call them, that then you get them and to agree to have you send them the documents. They do DocuSign, and it's a done deal.
I even put my people on three-way call. I tell them to mute their phone, and I start calling, and they hear me on the phone. I mean, live calls. They're going to hear me. They're going to hear me get slammed. They're going to hear me everything that I say. And I'm going to say this on a webinar. If you're expecting Robert Russell to make one phone call and get a listing, it ain't going to happen.
Yeah,
I am unsuccessful at that process.
Right.
A complete failure at that process.
Tell me, how many calls a day do you typically make then? And when do you do that? Is there a good time of day, or can you help us?
Are you standing up or sitting down?
Well, I'm actually standing up, but I'm leaning a little on a chair.
Okay,
so I
good.
think
Go ahead and lean. In a 6-hour day, I can call about 200 people per hour.
Whoa. How? Are you
Is
going
that
to
too
tell
long?
us how?
Well, number one, you got to have enough names.
You got what?
Got to have enough names of people to call.
Got it. Right. Got it. Got it.
If
Yep.
you've only got 50 people to call, then your day is probably not going to be that successful.
Right.
Because number one problem that I stated earlier, you're going to be afraid to call people because you're afraid of running out of names.
Yes.
If you have 1,000 people to call daily, you're going to have confidence. You're going to go on. If they hang up on me, I don't care. And so your attitude is going to be better on the phone. You're not going to be
Yes.
intimidated by the hang-ups, the hells, all the other stuff that you're going to hear.
God, that's
So,
great.
so I have a system that I use. I use a company called Sales Dialers. SalesDialers.com.
Wow.
The system will allow me to make 200 calls an hour, 4 lines at a time. And if somebody signs up, you're looking at about $110 a month. If you use a promo code, which is promo 628, I'm giving a promo code. They're going to kill me for giving this away. I'm going to do it anyway. I don't care.
Okay.
It'll knock off $10 off the bill.
Wow. God, that's great. That's amazing. Well, there you gave us a very good tip that now we know how to make the calls and see, you're really a psychologist because you're doing this as psychology of like asking questions, but also the psychology on yourself too, because really it's all about, me, if you will. It's about where I'm at. And like if I think, hey, I have plenty of names, that just relieves me and gives me relief. And that way I can talk to people and ask them
Right.
those questions. And, if they don't like it or whatever, hey, I could just move on and not take it so seriously. And that's something that I think all of us need to do is not take ourselves so seriously and not take other people so seriously. If they're in a bad mood or whatever, hey, it's about them. It's not about you, right?
And here's the other thing. I remember when I first started selling insurance, I was 23 years old. I remember my manager, he heard me make phone calls and people were hanging up on me. And he was seeing that I was getting really pissed off. He said, Robert, why are you so upset? He said, what happened to that person that you just called before you called him? I said, I had no idea. He said, what if they strangled their dog? How happy do you think they would be? I said, well, I said, they probably wouldn't be happy at all. He said, that's the mentality you got to have. You had no idea what happened to them right before you called them. If you call them back another day, they're probably going to be in a mood.
Right.
And so that's really the attitude I've always had when people are rude. They're just having a bad day.
Yeah, right. It's not about you, nothing about you. That you're actually there to serve them, to help people, to be able to have them do what they want. And in this case,
I'm there to ask them questions.
Yes.
They will sell themselves. I'm going to ask them the right questions to back them into a corner so that it's their idea, not mine, to use me as their realtor. Because I'm going to ask them the right questions to lead them to where I need them to be. It's just like what I tell people all the time. For every attorney movie that you've seen, there's a witness on the stand and the attorney. The attorney is asking the question to lead them where he wants them to go. He already knows the answer before he asks the question. So their answer, he's got the next question ready based on that answer. That's how you've got to be able to owner calls.
Well, let me give you an example of that. That, Robert, if I asked you if you wanted, as a real estate agent, would you like to have passive income for the rest of your life as a real estate agent? What would you say to that?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. And, actually, that HankWebinar.com, if agents go to that or brokers go to that, they can have passive revenue for the rest of their lives. And so I just did it the way you had told me to, right? I asked you a question, you said yes.
Because you know what the answer was going to be.
That's right.
You were leading the witness.
I was. Robert Russell, you are just amazing. RobertJRussell.com and Robert at RobertJRussell.com. That it really has been a mind-expanding experience here because it's something that I've never heard before. For 5 years you're a master getting all these listings, and for 5 years you have not met with these people for listing. It's just incredible. So your technique, what you have found, is truly a gold mine, and that for agents that want to take FSBOs and they have plenty of leads and plenty of listings, and listings, of course, is the easy way, that the person to call is you, Robert. And we thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's been awesome.
Okay, well, thank you. It has been. We've had a fun time. And again, if you're looking to build your business and build your wealth, DocHankWebinar.com, or come and watch another podcast with amazing people like Robert J. Russell. And with that, I bid all of you a happy day, and just think about what will be and how great your future is going to be from here on out. All the best. Love, Dr. Hank.